What's going on, guys? Whitey Exotics here, and I just wanted to do an update really on a news article that I saw recently. So we're going to head over to the National Geographic website, and the topic of today's video, guys, is do spiders dream? So a new study has suggested that spiders are actually dreaming when they're motionless at night. So let's read the article and find out what it's got to say. So, research in the field typically means a journey to the remote Brazilian Amazon for Daniela C, an ecologist in the University of Constance. But during the coronavirus lockdowns of 2020, the best you could do was patch scrubby grass near her home in Trier, Germany. Roebler, pronounced ROESSLER, quickly became enchanted by the field's tiny spiders. After nightfall, some of the jumping spiders, about the size of her pinky fingernail, retired to their little silken pouches called retreats. They do this because I've kept them. She found that others immobile, dangling upside down from a single strand of silk with the legs neatly curled and occasionally moving. So they're twitching. The way they twitched just made me think of dogs and cats dreaming. It wasn't long before ROESSLER set up a nursery for baby spiders in her lab to observe their nightly dangles. Her new research, published August 8th, Proceedings of the National Academy of Science, reveals jumper spiders experience a sleep-like state with rapid eye movements similar to those observed in dreaming humans. That's kind of mind-blowing to think about, guys, because I always thought of spiders as like, you know, little robots. They do have some basic functions and very basic memory, but this would indicate that they're also dreaming when they're asleep. Now, another study says that they can't quite prove it. So going over here, it just says that they're going to be studying over this, you know, the next 2 or 3 years and see what it brings. But carrying on here, either spider, you can't perform a brain scan on a spider like you can on humans or other larger animals, nor can you ask them how they slept. But for baby spiders, you can see into their heads in the first 10 days of life. Jumping spiders, also called solsticids, haven't developed pigment on the exoskeleton covering their tiny noggins, a space almost entirely devoted to their eyeballs. They're basically walking retinas, Morehouse says. So over here is an image of what I presume is one of these spiders that she was observing, and it's twitching, you know, much like they do when they're molting in its sleep. So yeah, they do dangle from threads, but they also just generally hide in retreating, you know, silken retreats. I've kept enough of them to know. In her lab, ROESSLER set about trying to record dozing spiderlings to learn about their sleep habits using a magnifying glass and night vision camera. She focused on the spider's eye and body movements, which provides clues about what's happening as they rest. She soon found that they experienced periods of rapid eye movement, which increased in duration and frequency throughout the night, lasting about 77 seconds and happening approximately every 20 minutes. It was during these REM-like periods that ROESSLER observed uncoordinated body movements. Their abdomens wiggled, their legs curled or uncurled. Let's see if there's anything else about this. Just skipping through this. Occasionally there are things happening that can only explain the theory of them having a nightmare. They'll be peacefully dangling, legs curled in neatly, when suddenly all the legs get extended at the same time. Like, And my cats do the same thing when they're sleeping, the little legs twitch, and then occasionally they'll stretch out. There are also periods of coordinated movement when the spiders stop to stretch, adjust the silk line they were dangling from, or clean themselves. Judging by the lack of retinal movement, it appears the spiders were just briefly arousing to get comfortable before returning to their repose. Now, you know, again, the same with cats. They go into a shallow sleep state, so it's not like deep REM that humans do with the alpha and beta waves, or is it delta waves? I can't really remember. Where we just, you know, fade into different states of consciousness. It looks like these spiders sleep in a shallow state, much like a cat would do. To sleep, perchance to dream, ROESSLER emphasises that we have yet to prove this period of inactivity in spiders can technically be considered sleep. For that, several boxes need to be checked, including demonstrating the spiders are less arousable or slower to respond to stimuli and need rebound sleep if they're deprived. From her observations outside, they seem to really be able to distinguish what is an actual disturbance and what isn't. So yeah, basically what I just said, it's a shallow type of sleep state. So what are they going to do in the future of this? So they're just going to test in the future if they respond to these sleep states to outside visual stimuli and see how quick the spider responds to it. So I'm using a single tungsten electrode, a really thin wire placed outside the head to detect electrical activity. Windsor says the team also plans to combine this with the setup the team previews to monitor retinal movements as spiders watching tiny TVs. Yeah, so there we go, guys. I'm interested to find out what this means in the future, but yeah, it's crazy to think that something as primitive as an insect, an arachnid, can actually go into a dream state. I've always been an advocate for the thing, obviously, that I keep fish, and you know, they say a goldfish has a 7-second memory. I say that's false, because I've observed with all of my fish, even including something as small as a tetra, they get used to routine and they will memorize when you're going to feed them, or when you open the lid, they'll come out ready to feed. So they have some sort of memory there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed just a quick look at this, and yeah, I'll update you guys if I find anything else about it. Thanks for watching.